And I will be running as an independent candidate.
Ousted Liberal MPs Jane Philpott and Jody Wilson-Raybould will now be running as independents. Now, before I get to a couple clips of them discussing their decision, let me first refresh your memory on why they were kicked out of the Liberal caucus. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau expelled Wilson-Raybould and Philpott from the Liberal caucus on April 2nd, saying trust with the two former cabinet ministers had been irreparably broken as the government worked to beat back allegations that officials inappropriately pressured Wilson-Raybould to intervene in the SNC-Lavalin criminal case. Soured relations with the two MPs came to a head when Wilson-Raybould released a secretly taped audio recording of a conversation she had with Michael Wernick, who has since retired as clerk of the Privy Council. So I have multiple videos on this. You can go back and watch those if you want some more detail. But essentially, these two MPs were kicked out of the Liberal caucus for speaking truth to power. What they did was the correct thing to do in terms of actually standing up for the people and putting the country over party. These two MPs did the right thing. So let me first share Jody Wilson-Raybould's a clip from her speech here on why she decided to become an independent for the next election.
In this election, I will be running as an independent candidate. Rising to these challenges requires Ottawa to operate more openly and transparently in the spirit of nonpartisanship with increased cooperation. That is what I am now, more than ever, as an independent committed to advocating. As an independent, I will be truly free to take the guidance of the citizens of Vancouver Granville and to represent you. I will not have to try and convince myself that just because the way it has always been done means that it must continue to be done that way. So there are more MPs than you might think that see a need for a different way of doing politics and who do not like the current limitations of the party system, what some of us like to call independent partisans. These people want to collaborate. To be independent does not mean you're alone, working as one. On the contrary, it means you are committed to working with everyone.
So I'm going to show you Jane Philpott's speech in a second here as well, but these two speeches were very similar in terms of the reason that they decided to run as independents as opposed to joining, say, the NDPs or the Green Party. They want freedom to be able to be open and transparent. They want the freedom to not have to toe a party line, and I completely understand that. The problem is we have a system that is dependent on parties. I mean, to form a government, you need a party and a leader of that party to be the prime minister. So this essentially, I mean, unfortunately in a way, because I like both these MPs so much, this removes any potential of them becoming prime minister. Now, maybe they have no interest in being a party leader or becoming prime minister, but that's almost exactly why they should be leader, because they aren't out there for ego, or they aren't doing this for power. They actually are interested in helping real people. So they will get to do that as independents and be free and open. But I mean, if the Green Party or even the NDP allowed them to be themselves, I think that would have been the better way to go, because you can then still work within a party. But at the same time, that isn't how these parties typically have been run, especially the major parties. You have to fall in line. So even if they were told that, yes, you can dissent if you want to within, say, the NDP caucus, they would still feel the pressure to not dissent and to have to toe a party line that they ultimately don't agree with. So I feel like with the Green Party, they would have had a little more freedom, especially. So I'm going to do a different video on them talking about the Green Party, because both of these MPs actually mentioned Elizabeth May, Green Party leader, in their speeches. So they had discussions with her about potentially joining the Green Party. I think they would have had the freedom to be able to be themselves in that party and still be able to work within a party structure and potentially be able to one day form a government if they were to actually win enough seats as the Green Party. But I do like the principle here of what Jody Wilson-Raybould and Jane Philpott are doing. This dedication to standing up for real Canadians as opposed to working within this sort of team sport of politics. Now, let me show you a couple clips here as well from Jane Philpott's speech.
So I am going to run in the federal election as an independent candidate for the people of Markham-Stouffville. People want politicians who are authentic, who really present the real deal. They want politicians who are accountable, who are willing to admit that from time to time we make mistakes, but we're going to own up to them, and then we're going to get things right and move on. And people want politicians that are bold, that realize we have some serious existential threats in this country.
Okay, so I shared a little less from Jane Philpott's speech simply because she said a lot of the same things, or at least explored a lot of the same ideas that Jody Wilson-Raybould communicated in her speech about being free to be open and transparent, and being independent allows you to work with any party, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff, totally agree. It totally makes sense. I just don't, I wish these MPs had more ambition to, form a government and potentially be the leader of a party and be prime minister. Because again, these are two MPs that I think would be fantastic as prime minister. But now let's think about the potential here of them actually winning. So running as an independent, just like in any system, not even just a parliamentary system, any political system, running as an independent is tough. It's tough to win as an independent. I think Jody Wilson-Raybould will win. I think she has the name recognition. She clearly, she stood up to Justin Trudeau. She spoke truth to power. She's been in the news all over the place. I think she will do fine, and I think she will win her riding. Jane Philpott, it's going to be a little tougher. I think she deserves to win. I think she should win. But because she is in Markham, it's a riding that often swings, back and forth between the Liberals or the Conservatives. It's going to take a lot for Jane Philpott, I think, to be able to win as an independent. She really is going to need a lot of organizing on the ground in her riding to be able to win. At the same time, she does have name recognition more now than she did before because of this whole story that's come up. So there is still the potential there. I think she has a better chance at winning as an independent than most people would as independents. But it's still going to be a little tougher of a road for her than it will be for Jody Wilson-Raybould. Now, ultimately, I would have liked them to see them join a party, because I would like to see them as the leader of a party and potentially the prime minister of a party. But if you just look at this on the principle of it, on what their intentions are here, I think they made a noble choice, running as independents, standing up for Canadians as opposed to having to play party politics. I think for them, clearly, it was the right decision to make.